Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Radium, and today I have an incredibly special video for all of you. Because believe it or not, I've gotten hold of the First Fractal. I couldn't really believe it either, and it's amazing to see. So overall, I'm very excited to show you this, but this video is not only going to be a gameplay, like mechanics, and just like explaining how the weapon works, but it's also just going to be an in-depth analysis of what the weapon does well, and why I personally believe it should be working alongside the Zenith, as a weapon that actually made it into the game, as it has some amazing qualities to it, that I definitely think are worth discussing. So with that all said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. It took such a long time to figure out how to get this thing. So yeah, there's not really much to it, so please enjoy the video. Okay guys, here we are. We have got the world, we've got the weapon, and we've got some things I want to put it up against ultimately. This is because I really just want to test how this thing does in various situations, and I feel like this is the absolute best way of seeing whether the First Fractal would have actually been a viable weapon. Which is one of the tests I have, because the vast majority of you guys will never be able to access this thing, unfortunately. Just due to it literally taking days of me trying to figure it out. But overall, we're just going to see how it stacks up to some post-Moonlord weapons, to see how it would have fit into the game. So, first of all, let's just try out the SDMG. So this thing's getting approximately, I don't know, 1200 to 1400 damage. I'd say that's a fair DPS for this weapon. It's fairly strong. That's definitely, with the right accessories and items, good enough to carry you. I'd say that's definitely good enough. And next up we have the Last Prism. I will be using God Mode for the sake of the test. And comparatively, this thing does a lot more damage. It goes up to almost, well, over 3000 in this case. Hitting about 3500 DPS and still rising. So this is obviously one of the strongest possible options. And next up we have the Star Wrath. This is because I want to compare it to the melee weapons it'd be going up against. And I know it's kind of unfair since this thing is not optimized for single target. But there we go, about 900 to 1000 DPS. Next up we have the big boy, the Zenith. And, well, this thing's obviously very, very good. It's like above 4000, pushing up to 5000 DPS. And the further you get away, the more damage it'll do. But for the sake of the test, we'll call it 5500 DPS, just because it's variable depending on your range. Now, I really want to try out the First Fractal now, so let's just see how it does. And this is the base First Fractal, by the way, so it's doing about 2000 damage on the dot, basically. When it hits a bunch, it does go up, and that's very, very nice, and, you know, it's a very solid option for a weapon, for sure. But the thing is, it definitely fits in Terraria a lot better than the Zenith would, in my opinion. I know this is the ultimate final sword, and like nothing that happens really matters, but I could honestly see this being both very useful for most things, but also a genuinely balanced weapon that could fit into mods a lot easier than the Zenith. If that does make sense, I guess. So, in theory, if the First Fractal was an actual weapon accessible in the game, it would be the third strongest weapon, pretty much, because it's still behind the Last Prism, it's still behind the Zenith by a mile, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because this weapon is just beyond overpowered. And this will definitely fit into mods a lot better, I think, as well as just serving as a, like, more fun weapon to use. Not that the Zenith isn't enjoyable, but this is just very, very cool. And, yeah, I guess we should get into some more complicated melee builds now, just so we can really compare this thing. Okay, I don't know if this is absolute optimization or not, but this is what I'm going to go with. Celestial Stone, Celestial Shell, Warrior Emblem, Avenger, Destroyer, Fire Gauntlet, Mechanical Glove, and the Solar Armor. I'm sure this is coming up to max damage, and you can see these weapons actually have the same base damage, but the First Fractal has a lower speed. And, you know, they're both very, very similar weapons in terms of statistics. Wrath and Rage are ultimately the only ones that really mean much, as well as Burgers for the extra boost. But that's pretty much all I'm going to do. Nothing like beyond fancy, but we're just going to see how these weapons do now. So the Zenith on a single target is pushing 17,000 damage, and this is without reforges, by the way. I feel like that's a much safer way of doing this. Otherwise, the numbers will get very convoluted and very confusing. But this weapon is actually pushing up to about 20,000 DPS. And the First Fractal, on the other hand, is... Hang on, I'll let that refresh real quick, but by the looks of it, it's still relatively high. So, oh my lord, yeah, this is still a very, very solid weapon. This, along with how it controls, it would be very good in my opinion. Like, you're looking at 6,000 DPS with an endgame melee build, which I think is better than you'd get with an SDMG, if you were using the Vortex and, like, the right bullets. I know for a fact that this isn't the main focus of the video, but I'd like to put this thing up against some bosses, just to kind of see how it does. And I'm sure you guys will want to see how it does as well, above, like, just seeing numbers, basically. On second thought, this world doesn't have hallowed in it, so we're going to stick this on nighttime, and we're going to fight some mechanical bosses. So, let's see, Mechanical Eye, Skull, and Worm. I feel like these offer a good variety of, like, different challenges. So, first of all, if we put it up against Spasmatism, it absolutely shreds. And holy Jesus, this thing is still very, very good. I've never used this before, so I don't know whether I'm using it correctly or not, but this seems very solid. And there we go, Master Mode Twins absolutely decimated, which is exciting to see. So for those complaining that it wouldn't be as fun as the Zenith, it's still absolutely overpowered and crazy. Just slightly less broken, if that makes any sense. In terms of Skeleton Prime, it actually works really well because the projectiles travel in such a way that it takes out all the hands at some point. So it's very good for, like, control, and, well, yeah, crowd control would be a very good point of this weapon. Although it is kind of hard to get used to aiming, and this is the one I'm very excited about. The Destroyer, and if we go to it, and just, yeah, sit here, and then it just does tons and tons of damage. That might have even been quicker than the Zenith would have been, in fact. But that's just amazing. The last thing I want to do is a Moonlord battle as well, so we can finish off with that. Right, here we go, boys. Lunatic Cultist time. I'm kind of just going to leave my cursor on my player, I guess, and just see whether the weapon has really good homing capabilities or not. So, it does. I'm not aiming at all. I mean, I think it does help if you aim your cursor around the boss, because it doesn't have an infinite range of homing, but it's definitely good to know that. And, you know, oh my god, this is doing so much damage. It's not just that, it's just that this weapon is so fun to use in comparison to other things. And, you know what, I might as well see how it does against holding off these events as well, because that's a fairly, like, standard thing to do. Okay guys, now I get to enjoy one of the more interesting things of all of today. We get to fight the Moonlord. And most importantly, we get to fight him with the First Fractal. So first of all, I can tell you that this weapon is doing incredibly. Just looking at the damage it's achieving, and this is in Master Mode, with no, well, I'm obviously not using, what's it called, like, God Mode, because I want to give this a legitimate try. Although I've not done this fight in a while, so please excuse me. But this weapon just feels a lot more balanced than the Zenith. Like, it's obviously better than most post-Moonlord gear, but it's not stupid like the Zenith is. Like, it's not 10 times stronger than other post-Moonlord weapons, for example. It's just right, and that's exactly what it should be. Just like a nice balance of good weaponry, but also just feeling like there could be more after this and the game wouldn't be completely broken. Because the existence of the Zenith pretty much proved that Relogic, first of all, were never going to make anything else, which was a good symbol, I guess, but it also proved, above everything else, that they didn't really think about the modding community much. Because obviously the weapon's better than most other alternatives. One thing I would say is it shares a similar weakness to the Zenith, as if they were kind of cut from the same cloth, because both of these weapons have a limited range of your screen, which again is normally fine for melee because you're expected to have a higher defense and less, like, well, yeah, just a higher defense in general, so tanking isn't too much of an issue, but it's still annoying in some senses. By the way, this fight is not any more difficult than regular Moonlord. I'm just being incredibly dumb with how I'm playing it. But now that the core's broken out, it's incredibly quick as a finish. And overall, I'm glad that I genuinely struggled with this fight, because the first time I ever did For the Worthy Master Mode Moonlord, with a Zenith, he died before the minute mark. This weapon is more efficient than anything else I've ever used, but it's still balanced, and that's exactly what I like about it. So, in truth, there's one question that I know for a fact I'm going to get asked about for this video. Which one would you rather be in the game permanently, the Zenith or the First Fractal? And as obvious as it may seem, like, well, if you compare my opinions to what I've normally been saying, I'd actually think both should be in the game. And this is quite simply because both of them have an amazing dynamic. Both of them are fully functional weapons, and I feel like that's great to know. But however, I feel like both of them could honestly work side by side. What I mean by this is, for example, you craft them, like, you can craft either of them using the same crafting recipe, and at, like, a Demon Altar or an Ancient Manipulator, you can convert one to the other. Like, just with the sword, or maybe some, like, I don't know, like, Luminite bars, for example, if they really wanted to do that. But I honestly don't think that's even necessary, just because being able to use both of these weapons in the full game, I feel like would add a lot to the experience as a whole. But that's all I really have to say about this thing, like, in terms of the gameplay. I'm going to give an opinion on mods now off camera. Post-editing Radium, I mean, go for it, I guess. Alright guys, this is post-editing Radium here, obviously enough. So with my senses no longer being blinded by the adrenaline and excitement I was given by finally getting the first fractal, I can now give an actual opinion on it, and that side of the video, like you've just seen, mainly focuses on my initial opinions, but now that I've left it for a while, I think I have some more concrete ideas for why I like the weapon so much. So first of all, the weapon has such a cool dynamic that goes along so well with the rest of the game. I said the Zenith was literally 10 times more capable than other endgame weapons, and there was no joke there unfortunately, but I mean, the first Fractal is much more balanced comparatively to other endgame weapons. I can see it being on par with weapons like the STMG, the Celebration Mark II, etc. And it's also still very versatile and a lot more powerful than some weapons, so you still get rewarded for the incredible grind you'd have to do to get that weapon. So overall, the aesthetic, the design, the balancing, and the functions of the weapon are all spot on in my opinion. And in truth, I can see the first Fractal fitting right into mods like Calamity, whereas the Zenith only distances itself from those kind of capabilities. On that tangent actually, mods is kind of a touchy topic right now, but I think the Zenith was so controversial because of how it would impact mods when Team Loader came to 1.4, if you get what I mean. So because, well, the main reasons was it was so much stronger than any post-Moonlord weapon from any mod I've ever played. So it would pretty much break any progression of the vast majority of major content mods, and it would hurt so many mod developers from an already very delicate community right now. So basically, the first Fractal is not only more balanced than the Zenith, but it is a weapon I can see being given upgradable variants, if that makes sense. So it's just a more like innovative weapon, I guess, and I can see mod developers having a lot of fun like creating upgrades, whereas the Zenith is a very straightforward item to use and there's not really much versatility to it in terms of upgrading its designs. They can't really do much more than giving it more damage basically. So that's what I definitely want to see more in the future, as it's just such an amazing thing to me, and I've really enjoyed using the item. However, I do not think that means that the Zenith should be removed. As I said in my initial opinions, that's one of the only things I can still perfectly agree with. I reckon that in the regular game it should give you the option of the Zenith or the Final Fractal. Maybe as a For the Worthy Master Mode exclusive item? Like maybe you combine it with like a red potion, or something like that, or just some weird mechanic. But I really just think that would be a really good idea to be able to like change the weapons. Because, like, for example, if the first Fractal is better at certain things and the Zenith's better at others, even though the Zenith takes the cake on 99% of the things, I think it's still a very good idea because, you know, it gives players the opportunity to choose for themselves, and that's really nice. But I guess there's not really much hope for it at this stage because the weapon's never coming. But, I mean, there are ways of guessing it. It was very difficult for me, so I may make a guide on how to obtain the first Fractal in the future. But that video took so many recordings and there were so many crashes because of it. I'll explain why in a future video. But, I mean, that's all there really is to it. So thank you all so much for watching this very special video. If you did enjoy, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I will see all of you in the next one. Peace out, guys.